So today, for your accordion booklet, you are completing one of your panels. You are going to complete the panel for balance. Right now, you have an accordion folder or accordion book that has 7 panels on one side, 7 panels on the other side. Your name should be down here or anywhere else on your project. So today, what you're going to do, in no specific order, you're going to choose any panel on this side and you're going to label it balance. I'm going to choose this panel right here and label it balance. So I know this panel is going to have balance. The side that I'm pointing to right now, we're going to come back to on Friday and write. I'm not worried about that now, so I'll tell you what to do for this panel on Friday. I'm going to go to the back side of this panel. So that is this panel right here. This is balance. I'm going to put a B for balance very lightly because I do want to erase that later. You have stencils that you have cut out. For an example, I had these stencils that I showed you last week. What I'm going to do is on this panel that I labeled balance, I'm going to create a composition that is balanced using my stencils only. A common issue that I'm seeing is people asking me, what is balance? If you aren't sure, you can move your project aside, you can pull out your portfolio, and you can open up to your Unit 2 anchor charts, Principles of Design, Balance. And right here in the first page, it'll tell you the definition of balance with symmetry and asymmetry. So you can create balance using 2 different methods. Symmetry, which is when both sides are exactly the same, or asymmetry, when both sides look like they have the same amount, but they're different shapes. You can also go onto Google and type in Principle of Design Balance and search for an example and recreate an example you find on Google, except you're using your stencil. For mine, I'm using my stencil because it helps me trace so that everything is going to be equal. I'm going to draw like an imaginary line. I'm imagining there's a line down the middle, and I'm going to make both sides of this one panel exactly the same. I'm going to hold down my stencil. I'm going to trace it lightly. When you're tracing, you should be going slow because you want to avoid making mistakes. So I put a drawing, can you see that? So I put a drawing of that stencil on the left side. So on the right side, I have some options. I need it to look balanced. One side has a large stencil. I could do the exact same thing on both sides and it's balanced. If I take my stencil and flip it around like this, it will still be balanced because there's still only one large stencil. Or I could take my small stencil and do 4 of my small stencil. You have a few options. I'm going to do my large stencil and I'm going to do it upside down. Okay, so I have two. They're opposite sides, but it is balanced because there's one on each side. All I did was just flip the image. The next step I have for today is to color it in. You can color it in any way you want because balance doesn't need to have specific color schemes. That is all you're doing for today. So by the end of class today, you should have one panel for balance that is drawn and colored. If you have any questions, raise your hand. You now know what to do. If you are behind, if you need to get stencils done, those need to get done now because we continue tomorrow with our panel of contrast.